I think, the last bit is important. I think I've been unreasonable most of my life. My parents will definitely agree. Because I realize there's a part of me that likes to play the guitar, sing. I like the visceral live feel of a performance, being on stage. Something like this, but less scary than this, because I have less people in my gigs. Part of me likes to sit in a boardroom and strategize about, future ideas, different industries, what we can do to grow, invest, all that kind of stuff. Part of me likes to sit alone for hours while I create something, a poem, a story, a melody, or even a business plan. And part of me likes to be with the team, motivating them, sharing ideas with them. Today at 36, I'm comfortable with what seems like, a chasm, a paradox. But when I was 21, it wasn't like that at all. I felt torn between two worlds. It was like it was schizophrenic. Because I didn't believe anyone could do all these things. I wanted to be a free, idealistic artist. But the reality was that the music industry in India doesn't even exist. It's a subset of Bollywood. And my music is too avant-garde. And I had to be financially independent. Because I was brought up in an environment where if you can't stand on your own 2 feet, you don't have any feet. So I started everything I could start. Any business that I could start with my limited means, I started. I was just like, I got to make money to be free to do whatever I want to do, which I wasn't sure about. At 24, I mortgaged my house and took a 5 crore loan to buy a Japanese machine, which was a plastics packaging machine, this huge machine. And I set up a packaging factory in Gujarat. My family was obviously dead against it and thought I was crazy, but I've never listened to them. Seriously. And it seemed like a good business idea at the time. I poached to a good team from my competitors. Market looked good, all that stuff. I was 24. I didn't know anything. I thought I'll have an IPO in 3 years and retire or whatever, travel the world. But obviously, things didn't happen that way. The year that I bought the machine, the market collapsed and profitably went down the drain. Everything went down the drain. I used to go to the factory and look at that machine, this huge, as big as this whole stage, and tell it, you have ruined my life. Really. And for a long time, I was thinking, how can I set fire to the whole factory and get my money out in an insurance scam, But I think for a year and a half, I used to dream about it. Like, how will I do it? But someone will die. No, yes, no, yes, no. So out of this turmoil came Stray, my first album. So at the time, I was feeling a lot of angst, alienation. Where do I belong? I live here, but what's going on? What am I doing in my life? I used to sit in my office, look out of the small window that I had every day, and think, have I sold my soul so cheaply? I mean, is this it? Is this everything that I've dreamt of, all my heroes? It's come to this? So this album was like a catharsis for me. I used to sit by myself in my house. I taught myself how to play all these instruments, piano, guitar, produce, learn some instruments, write the lyrics, whatever I felt, I poured it out. And I made it. And while making it also, it was like, who am I doing this for? Am I ridiculous? My dad used to be like, Sala, kya karta hai? What are you doing? Udhar baith ke sara din kya karta hai? Whatever, Everybody was like that. But I did it. Then Sony BMG heard about it. And they liked it. And they said, we'll release it. So I was happy. They're one of India's biggest record labels. They released it. We did some gigs. We did a music video. It reached number 12 in the Indian charts, which is not great, but I was happy. It's a very abstract for India album. I'll show you a photo of it. So this is a photo. It's called Stray, and there's a photo of a stray dog, because that's how I felt when I made this album. I felt like a stray dog, and I identified with this photo. Really. I'll give you a website later where you can hear it. It was critically acclaimed internationally as well. The Guardian called it a surreal, uneasy vision of a new India. Another publication called it a fascinating, hallucinatory experience. And it still works. 4 years later, I still like it. So, that was a good, a pat on the back. But it didn't pay any bills. I must have earned 1 lakh or something from it, More than I spent on it, probably. So I still had to go back to my factory and work. Had to expand to be profitable, take more loans, set up another factory and another factory. It took 8 years for me to grow my factory till I could sell it 3 years ago. At that point, it was 300 employees with 5 factories all over India. All that time, I felt physically like there was this chain around my neck, choking me, preventing me from doing what I wanted to do. So when I sold it, I really felt free. My lesson from that was that I have to do something which appeals to my core, to my gut, because if I don't, any road is really long, really bumpy, really tiring, everything. But if you don't feel for what you do, You're going to hate it. And the journey is the most important thing, really, because that's what we're here for. So, to continue that, I'm half Marwadi and half Maharashtrian. For most of my life, I was embarrassed about my Marwadi bit, like a businessman, business is shit, all that stuff. After selling my company, I realized that the half Marwadi side isn't too bad, this